Yo, what's up? Coffee in hand. Today we're going to discuss whether or not I think you should start a free community based on where you're at within your coaching journey, and based on the fact that I started my free community like a handful of months ago, and my experience of it so far, the pros, the cons, the downside, the upside, and all of that. So first of all, I had made a promise to myself that I would do a YouTube video every single day for as long as I could, and it lasted 4 days. Yesterday, I just didn't feel inspired to create. I had family stuff going on. I was, with the kids and my wife, and essentially, I decided that it would be better use of my time to just be present with my family. Now, in the past, I would have beaten myself up about that, but this project for me about creating YouTube videos is really about leaning into the artistic pulse, feeling the creativity, and being very clear on what I want to do and why I do it, and doing it like without force, doing it in flow. I also have a little bit of a blocked nose, so I do apologize for that today. But let's dive in, shall we? So if you have a coaching business, you're going to be in a varying degree of positions right now. You might have, an abundance of leads, in which case, go you, right? You might have an adequate amount of leads. You might have a flow, and you might have a trickle. And what I typically see is that the people at the bottom who have a trickle of leads focus on high-level tactics or strategies like, let me build a free community, or let me do a VSL, or let me do a insert, relatively complex thing to... Oh, I fucking spilt my coffee. Great. I do that every day. Relatively complex thing to pull off, right? And that's okay. That's great. But what you will find is the people who have the least lead flow are looking for the thing that's going to solve their problem and be the magic pill, so to speak. Now, I think if you were in a situation where you are experiencing a trickle of leads, you need something to generate leads, right? You really do. And that could be as simple as content on your Instagram. Right? One of the easiest funnels that we get brand new beginners to do is like create really valuable Instagram content and run Instagram ads to get more followers, to get more engagement, but a very specific kind of ad. And what we find very quickly is that people go from, a handful of 100 followers to 3 to 20 new followers a day that are perfect, ideal potential clients. And so if I was experiencing like a trickle of leads right now, the last thing I would do is focus on a free community and try to fill that out. Because honestly, like if I just sidestep a little bit, your community is going to require a ton of energy, right? A ton of energy to, number one, fill, right? You've got to fill it. Number two, you've got to nurture it. So you're going to fill it with people. You're going to have to nurture that. And then you have no idea. You're in the dark of whether you can convert it. So you've got to fill it, nurture it, convert it. It being, you've got to make sure that it is going to convert. The people that are coming into your community are going to become clients. Otherwise, it's pointless running. And it takes a lot of energy to do all three. And by the way, money or dollars or pounds to fill it. You are going to struggle to fill it organically unless you are an absolute G at creating organic content. It's going to take a ton of energy to nurture it. You're going to have to post in there daily. You're going to have to create new content regularly. And honestly, it's going to take a lot of energy to convert it because you're going to have to get people into sales calls from your community. And there's a little bit of a warm-up phase here of building trust. So you're going to have to build trust with the people that come in. And really the people that are coming in here are cold, and then you want to, make them hot and ready to buy. And so it's going to take time. And honestly, if you have a trickle of leads, you probably don't have time. And unfortunately, the people in this category tend to do a lot of things that are hard to execute, take time to make work, and they get distracted regularly, which means they're putting energy into something to then change direction, to change direction, to change direction. And that's why they forever live with a trickle of leads. Now, if you have a flow of leads right now, one of the risks that you have in your business is that you try to do something new and different from what you're already doing. Like if you have a flow of leads, that tells me that something's working, right? Something is working. And the risk is the pivot or doing something different. There is energetic cost to starting something new. And if you were a client of mine, I'd be like, all right, cool. What is creating the flow? And how do we do more of that? I mean, a lot of my coaching is actually like, how do I walk you off a ledge and stop you from doing things that I think are going to be a distraction, a waste of time, and a waste of energy? So like, what is creating the flow right now, and how do we double down on that? For a lot of people, that could be as simple as you have something that's working in terms of lead generation, you're spending money on ads, but you just don't know how to scale those ads. And right now, it might just be that you need more money into those ads, so you need to spend more, or you might need more creatives, or you need different targeting, and or all of the above, right? If you're spending, 50 quid a day, and you've got one creative and one targeting working, you could spend another 50 quid a day with another creative and another set of targeting and essentially double your lead flow with like zero effort and zero difference to what you're doing. And it's important because starting a new community is not just, I have a place to send people. It's building an entirely new process on how you attract, convert, and attract, nurture, and convert when it comes to getting clients. So it's an entirely new process. And often the double down on the thing that's already working is the quicker, easier way to double your lead flow and get you to like more than adequate, where it's going to cause you to have to look at maybe appointment setters or the next layer of like what's required in your business in order to handle more than enough lead generation, lead flow, right? So really, realistically, when we look at this, if you have an abundance of leads, like you've got more than you can handle, this is probably an infrastructure issue where you might need to really get team on board to help you sift through. I mean, I have a client right now, she got over 100,000 followers, and that is a blessing. And she has a really engaged audience, and she has more engagement than she can really deal with on her own. And the problem with that is that she gets people reacting to her stories or replying to her stories, and all of that's among the potential buyers. And so she has so much going on that it's like hard to find the one and two really qualified leads, the hot qualified leads that are ready to buy amongst that audience. So you can't see that. Let me move that down a touch. Yeah, so you require this infrastructure here, and it's hard to sift between all of the difference within like the leads that are coming through. So who should start a community? Well, I think number one, if you have money to invest. In fact, let me just tell you my thoughts on having the community since, it's like October 24 maybe, and right now it's January 25. I think I've generated somewhere in the region of like 10 to 15. I wouldn't know the exact number, but 10 to 15 clients who have came through my community. However, I did have prior relationship to a lot of these people, and that's important to note. Like the community became a place at which they could receive my content at a deeper level, and it allowed me to create some kind of interaction or connection with them. But I don't know if I could have done that with YouTube anyway. And I think the thing to really note here is that, yes, it probably accelerated their desire to buy from me. And I have had some people come in cold into the community and buy, but it's like 10% or 20% of the people that are in my program. And for sure, like prior relationship plays a part. So by that, I mean like people who know me, know what I do, know what I'm capable of. They didn't just stumble across me today. Yet it allowed me to go deeper with them inside of the community in like a container. And once you've set it up, by the way, like I don't do as much trying to nurture people. Like I have the content in there and people go in and they kind of interact on their own. What I was trying to do at first is like build this community that was like engaged, and I'm responding to everything and I'm creating content in there. And it's impossible to do. If you're like really building a business and serving people, it's fucking really hard to do. And I have a team of a few people and I try to manage that on my own, and it's just difficult. It really is. And my concern would be for the average person who looks to go and create a free community to grow their business is that it takes so much time and energy that you're not actually doing client generation activity, which is communicating with people, setting appointments, having sales calls. And so I think it definitely accelerated the relationship that I had with my audience and like bringing people in. It's definitely bringing cold people in and nurturing them in a way that is like fairly automated, which is a pro. As long as I don't try to have false expectation around like engaging with those people and trying to deliver tons of value and like one-to-one exchanges, it's actually okay. It doesn't require a lot of work and energy, and people do schedule calls on their own out of there. But there's a lot of setup goes into it. You've got to feed the machine. You've got to constantly create new content. You've got to constantly have new people coming in. And that requires time and energy and money. And for most people who can't spend, if you can't spend like 1,000 plus per month on ads to grow this free community, it's going to grow in a trickle. It really is. Unless you have a huge engaged audience, you have something unique and different. And I will say, like, if you have like a B2C thing that is, unique and different. Like, for example, I'm going to help a friend of mine potentially with like a martial arts community. Like, it has a big following. That could put like 1,000 people organically into that community very quickly. Has a very good engaged audience. And that would be worthy. Like, if you could put 1,000 people in there organically, I'd probably say that's a good idea to do, because then you've got like a place for people to interact and build relationship and get to receive your stuff. But if you're brand new, you're starting out, you've got no audience, no real offer tight, you're not that good at creating content, it's not something that you particularly love doing, you don't create long form videos, you're struggling to get your first like handful of clients. Like, if you've signed less than 100 coaching clients in your coaching career, like, I wouldn't recommend this as a funnel, because it's going to take a lot of time, energy and effort, and you're going to have to double down on skills that you don't really have yet. And so it would be a mistake to look out to the gurus of the world that say, hey, create this free community and do it. And there are caveats here. It's hard because I'm trying to think about like all the clients that I have and what I recommended to them or what I recommended to them. And often I wouldn't. And one of the reasons is that I know there are easier ways for many people to sell coaching. But if you have like if you're part of a market, like what would I class it as? There are certain markets that are like rabid. And for example, I'm a jiu-jitsu brown belt. Like, I would class jiu-jitsu as a rabid market. I have another client, he helps people with calisthenics. Like, that would be a great place. I would say, any kind of hobbyist-based thing that people want to get better at, that they like already have a massive interest in. Communities are great for that. And I think that is a great way to do it. But you have to have a pre-existing audience that you can put 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 people a day into that community with like little energy and effort. And so that would be my opinion. And I never want to put anyone off doing something that they want to do, but I can guarantee that for a lot of you, it's going to take way more energy than you think. and you're probably going to want to quit very quickly. I mean, I had all the intention in the world. I was building this community. I did it, and I did it well for like a month or so. And then I was like, fuck, like I'm spending more time here responding to stuff in my free community than I am my current clients. And that as soon as I crossed that threshold of like, this is taking more energy than it is to serve my current clients, I'm like, I can't do that piece of it. And so now my free community funnel looks like, sorry, my nose is running a little. It looks like this. So if I have my free community, which is on School, and the link is in the description if you want to check it out. I have like Instagram, I have YouTube, and I have paid ads. And honestly, I could do a much better job here organically, because I actually do thinking about this as I'm doing this video, like I rarely make an invite to my free community, which is wild. I primarily rely upon right now paid ads, and I'm spending probably like 60 quid a day, and they're not even optimized at all. So I simply have a reel, and it's a piece of content, and that reel is just linked to free community. Copy's really simple. So my thing is, for me, at least, pardon me, my audience is really about men. So I help male coaches. Yeah. And I don't just help them like grow their business with tactics and strategies. I help them leader up and step into their deepest expression as a leader. And for me, the kind of people that I work with, they have to really resonate with my content, because if they don't, it's going to be hard for me to coach them. Like I am deep. We go into fucking deep inner work. Like you have to be willing to look at yourself at a deep level if you want to be in my program. If you just want to grow your business, there are probably better programs for you out there just to grow your business. Like, and I'll say that openly. Like there are very, very many people who just grow your business. But for me, it's more about growing the human who is capable of having the business that he wants and doing it in a super aligned way. So we like look at it as an inside out job. Like you work on yourself and build an aligned program and then attract people into your world. So for me, it does make sense for a lot of people to consume my content. So my ads aren't optimized in a way that I would say, hey, like get this free training on how to get new clients without sales calls as an example, because I would just attract a lot of people who want how to get new clients without sales calls. And that's not my audience. Like I'm looking for people who have a business right now that is fairly successful, but it doesn't feel aligned and it's costing them energetically. It's depleting them of their purpose. It's taking away meaning for them. They've prioritized money over meaning. And for me, I want to work with people who prioritize meaning over money. And money comes as a byproduct of them finding more meaning in their life. So, top and bottom, pros are you can run ads to it. Pretty easy to fill if you've got money to fill it or an audience to fill it. You can run daily content stories, invite people in if you have an audience to do so. If you have a fairly decent volume of leads right now and you wanted to put them in the community for like deeper content or like bonus stuff that isn't available anywhere else, totally doable also. The downside is going to take a lot of energy and money to produce content, to fill it and to nurture it. And that's ultimately it. And I think if you are right now, if you're getting less than 10 clients a month in your coaching business, the easiest way for you to do this is to fucking double down on one platform and master one platform. Like master Instagram, figure out how to get attention, capture attention, convert attention. And if you can do that, you don't need the community. If you want the community, like I wanted to put a men's community together for male coaches to like congregate, great. Like if you want to do it, just understand it's going to take time, energy, and money. And if you're short on all three of them, it's going to be very difficult for you to get anything meaningful out of it. I wish I had more to say on it, but really, realistically, you'll know by watching this video whether or not a free community is for you or not. And frankly, if you are in the 0 to 100 grand, 100 grand to 300 grand a year kind of range, you can do it without a free community. You really can. And I would focus on really prioritizing the level of content that you're creating, whether that's resonating with your audience, whether it's matching like a message to market, and then really doubling down on like mastering one platform. That's what we do with our clients. Like, I would love to help you if that's resonant for you, but realistically, this is the thing that I think is like the topical funnel that you'll see right now. You'll see people running free community funnels, and it can work, definitely, but you 100% need to be spending ads on it or have a big audience already that's already engaged, which most people don't have. I mean, if you do, like if you're in a luxury position like I was, like I already had a thriving business, like I can invest $1,500, $2,000 a month in ads and not need anything back in return, and just do it out of the pursuit of knowing or trusting or figuring out or trying to figure something out, then that can work. But ultimately, that's the game you got to play. You got to invest time or money, and often it's more money that you need to invest to grow a community of any size. So hopefully this is helpful. Like, comment, subscribe, do all the things. This is my video for today, and I shall catch you soon. Peace.